so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Minister.
John Wilfred Rahael was born in Arima on January 9th, 1950. Although he spent most of his life in Port of Spain, John still considered himself an Arima boy at heart.
My brother John was born some 7.5 decades ago in an era when my father was still a peddler. At some point, he was able to rent a small shop at Broadway Arima, and the family lived at the back of the store in what was then called barracks. So John had, in his earliest memories, very humble beginnings. And I think that influenced part of his decision to help people and get involved in politics.
He was born on Columbus Street, went to Arima Boys Government, lived in Arima until he was about 20, and dreamed about being the mayor of Arima.
The mayor of Arima, Rupert Clovis, had a tailoring shop just 2 stores down from our place in Arima on Queen Street. John thought it was absolutely amazing that this man was doing so much for the people, and John thought that was great, and that's I think when he got the bug.
Ever the consummate businessman, John left secondary school early to join his father in the business.
John was anxious to get on with his life, and he felt school was holding him back. He wanted to start his life. My dad told John, no. You have to go to school. He said, well, I can go down to school, but the savannah is across from the school, and you wouldn't know where I am. At that point, my father told John, okay, come.
But John's father also told him if he didn't have a formal education, at least he could learn from other people. So he encouraged John to become a member of the Arima Chamber of Commerce.
A couple of years after that, when I had left school and I joined them in the business, the JCs wanted to expand into Arima and open an Arima chapter.
In the early 1970s, the Rahael family left Arima and moved to Port of Spain. They took up residence in Woodbrook. At that point in time, John joined the Trinidad and Tobago Businessmen's Association, eventually becoming its president. After that, he founded the Downtown Owners and Merchants Association, DOMA, becoming its first president.
John formed DOMA, Downtown Owners and Merchants Association. He formed it in 1990. Most of the buildings, or a lot of the buildings in Port of Spain was burnt, and John then decided that we needed to do something to rebuild Port of Spain, and he represented the merchants and the owners with Central Bank, and John was able to arrange for this program where almost everybody rebuilt, and that's how Port of Spain was rebuilt.
John really was what you call a hard worker. He worked tirelessly from the moment he got up in the morning. And in politics, it started with his running Joe Laquisa's campaign, and things that other people may have overlooked, John would ensure that they were done and done in an urgent and timely manner, which was part of his personality.
John Rahael first entered Parliament as a government senator in 1992 in the 4th Republican Parliament. He also served as mayor of Port of Spain from 1996 to 2001. He subsequently contested and won in 2001 the Port of Spain North St. Anne's West constituency.
We were all very proud when Prime Minister Manning called him to become a senator. He was excited to serve as well. One of the things that the Prime Minister at the time wanted to do was to redo Independence Square. He called on John to make this happen. And John actually went to all the building owners on the square and told them that, look, this is a project that he wants them to support, and he would like them to contribute because this is going to cost a lot of money to do it, and he wanted them to make a contribution. And then he ended up at the Express by Ken Gordon. He was pitching Ken Gordon on what he was going to do, and Ken Gordon stood up and looked out his window and told John, you going to move that? And John said, yes. He said, well, he chuckled and said, if you do that, come and get $1 million from me. That's how Brian Lara Promenade came to be in.
When I was older, in my young adult days, and Dad was in Parliament and in government, I remember him, he had a tremendous work ethic. So he would be up and out of the house very early and back late at night, and always very focused on what he was doing. He was very particular about being prepared. I had asked Dad at one point, I was like, but Dad, you working harder now that you in government than you ever did as a business person growing up, And his response was he enjoyed what he was doing. He enjoyed serving. He enjoyed giving back to the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
It was a lot about serving the constituents for which he was elected to do. He took that part of his role very seriously, even with regard to attending events. No matter how small or big the event was, he felt that he had to honor the invitation by showing up.
During the period 2002 to 2003, John Rahael served as Minister of Agriculture, Land and Marine Resources.
Typical John went into the ministry and asked them, well, what it is that we need to do here that is outstanding so we can work on. So they told him, for the last 20 years, we've been trying to figure out what to do with Caroni. And John went down, spoke to the farmers, spoke to the sugarcane people there, the sugar industry people, told them that what was happening was not sustainable, that something had to be done. It just couldn't go on forever. He realized that this would put a lot of farmers out of work, out of, not being able to support their families. So they came up with a plan. The government would take the land that had all the sugar and divide that land up and give it to the farmers. So the farmers could then grow crops of their choice to earn a living and support their families.
Undoubtedly, John Rahael made the biggest impact as Minister of Health, with many citizens benefiting from a number of innovative programs that he spearheaded.
He approached the health sector with a view towards improving access and availability nationally and quality care to the population. And he made it his business to build on the successes of the past and then strengthen the programs he found worth strengthening and delivering to the public, and then introduce other new initiatives, which was the hallmark of his presence at the Ministry of Health.
When he would be, he'd be working late at the ministry and he would talk about how much things he would have gotten done on any particular day. And then the next morning by 10 o'clock, the desk is piled high with papers to be looked at and signed and whatever else. He wasn't saying it from the point of view of, oh my God, this is so much stress. He was saying it from a point of view of, there is work to be done. And let's get it done. That was his way.
Things that other people may have overlooked, John would ensure that they were done and done in an urgent and timely manner, which was part of his personality.
I would say as Minister of Health, John signature achievement, I would say, is CDAP.
The Chronic Disease Assistance Program is a magic program, innovative to Trinidad. Anywhere we go and travel, they want to know how we all did it. Well, we tell them how we did it. We negotiate with every private pharmacy. So every pharmacist would get X dollars for dispensing. And we created a prescription pad. So the doctors don't have to create their own pad. And we had a list of drugs. They'll just tick off, go to the pharmacy, get supply for 3 months or 1 week or whatever the case may be. At the end of the day, Mr. Rahael was a very kind and compassionate man. You could always walk into his office without ceremony. And I'm not speaking about me or any one of his technical team, but people off the street would stop him and he would carry on a conversation. And he loved to meet with the health sector. He always wanted to go and visit the health centers, the hospitals, and see it as it was and so on. So he was always very open.
Mr. Vice President, may I also indicate that later this month, we will be laying in this Honorable House a policy document which will provide the legal framework for the accreditation of all healthcare institutions, both public and private.
From 2001 to 2007, John Rahael was the elected Member of Parliament for the Port of Spain North St. Anne's West constituency.
I was reading this article, and this person was writing this article about how typically he and his neighbors and his friends on a Saturday would lime in the backyard, and then one Saturday the gate opened and this fellow walked in, introduced himself. Hi, I'm John Rahael. Can I sit down and to chat a little bit? And he spent about an hour with them, that he asked about what was going on in the neighborhood, what was going on in the area, what the area needed. He wanted to understand what was needed so he could do his job. The article ended when the fellow said, he said, typically a politician, when they're looking for votes, they would come and they'll do what he did, come and talk and make nice. He came to us after the election, after he had won.
As a MP for Port of Spain, North St. Anne's West, again, just the feedback that we used to get from people that we interacted with was that Dad was a very present MP.
He served the people for what they needed. He arranged to have transport vehicles to serve some of the children in the area get to and from school. He worked with my good friend Dr. Michelle Montai, and they started a free medical clinic at the community center. So it was not just about being a minister or about being mayor. It was a lot about serving the constituents for which he was elected to do.
When he was mayor, he would every so often go to the senior schools, the secondary schools, and talk to the Form 5s and 5, 6, the elder students, and give them a little chat. And typically he was invited by the school to do that. And he would always pick something that happened to him. He never lectured. He wouldn't try to teach anything. He would give them a story about his life, about what happened to him.
Our family is very proud of John and the service he has given to our country. And it was really something else when he was involved as a senator, as a mayor, as a minister, right through the 15 odd years, is it, that he was in politics and serving. He would have to absent himself from a lot of our family events. So while it was a sacrifice, we are very proud of the work and the contributions he has made.
You know, people talk about their heroes, and they admire certain people who have done certain things. And when I think of my dad, I really think of him as a superhero because of what he accomplished with the little education that he had. You know, you hear stories of entrepreneurs and businessmen who, left school and started with very little and was able to achieve a lot. But I think my father surpassed that arc, that story, because of what he was able to achieve through his involvement in government and the amount of people's lives that he touched. So that's why I say superhero, because to me that's the definition of a superhero. Someone who can impact positively the lives of so many people and in such an intimate way. And that's a significant memory I'll have of him.